Alright guys, welcome back to the One Combat channel. For you guys that don't know me, my name is Alex. If you guys have been recurring subscribers or recurring members of our YouTube community, then welcome back. I know that it's been a very long time coming, and it's been a very long time since the last time I uploaded anything on this channel. and at this point, I'm just kind of embarrassed because of the fact that it just seems like I keep repeatedly saying these things, especially like in these last few videos, because of the fact that I've been so inconsistent and a little bit irresponsible with like the YouTube aspect of like social media. Because if you guys go follow my Instagram, you guys will kind of see like a little bit of more of what I've been up to, and you guys will kind of understand a little bit more on why I actually haven't really been uploading any type of tutorials or techniques on this YouTube channel. Eventually I will kind of catch you guys up on what's been happening in my personal life, and that way you guys could maybe understand a little bit more and probably give me a little bit more of an understanding on why I've been kind of MIA from the YouTube scene. But I don't want to talk so much in this video. I'm actually going to bring you guys a 4-part series that will actually involve the slip rope. Today I'm actually going to just kind of give you guys the intro, or like a little bit of the basics of like working the slip rope, just to keep it ghetto poor, just getting back to the roots of our channel. A lot of the times we actually see in a lot of gyms people actually cross over two slip ropes. So a lot of times you guys will see two slip ropes cross upon each other like a T or an X, right? So for the most part, I mean, that's kind of like the idea I had today. But just to kind of keep it simple, and I know a lot of you guys are probably going to be working from home either way, I just kind of like set up one slip rope, and that should be enough to give you guys the benefit of the techniques and kind of like the, what do you call it, and some of the few drills that I'm going to give you guys today. So I just set up one slip rope, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a rope from right here, from what you guys can see right here. This is more like a tape. I mean, it works as a slip rope. I mean, sometimes I've seen in gyms people get pretty creative. I've seen one guy actually wrap up a bunch of like cam wraps and like stick them together, like with straps, and actually make a very long rope and just kind of like tie it to two separate ends. So you just kind of want to keep it at about neck level. If you guys want to make yourself kind of suffer a little more and kind of make it a little more challenging, then of course you could lower it up to like shoulder level. That way you guys get a little bit more of a bend on the knees, right, and a little bit more of deeper rolls or slips. We're gonna keep it simple, and I'm actually gonna teach you guys kind of a bit of the psychology behind the slip rope. So with the slip rope, you guys kind of have to be a little kid again, and what I mean by that is basically you guys have to imagine the slip rope either kind of as a straight punch for the most part, or looping shots, right? Because we kind of want to keep our fundamental like boxing intact to these drills. So we're gonna go by conventional wisdom, right? Have some imagination with the slip rope. So like I mentioned, we're gonna kind of like stick to textbook style of boxing. So with the slip rope, I mean, for the most part, like when a straight punch comes at you, you're gonna slip, right? Slip, slip, right? Dropping the shoulders. If a looping shot comes at you, you roll, right? So the slip rope offers both of that. You just kind of have to have an imagination and actually work the slip rope in a very enthusiastic way. It's just kind of like in a way similar to shadow boxing. You want to have some enthusiasm and some type of imagination while you're actually like doing these drills. For example, like in shadow boxing, right? Like you'll see a lot of people do this, right? And there's nothing bad with like going with the flow and keep your hands low and just kind of like free flowing, right? Like I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. Like do what you do, but like if you want the best benefit and you want to keep your biomechanics and your technique basically sharp, then you kind of like use basically everything that you learn, right? Move your footwork, throw some shots, right? Move your head, right? Just keep yourself going, but also keep your technique intact, right? And have the enthusiasm to create angles, throw some shots, move your head, drop your body weight, shift to the left, shift to the right. So same thing with the slip rope. Of course, the only difference is that you're not as mobile and you're not as free because of the fact that you have to stay in basically where the slip rope is located at. For example, think of like the slip rope as either straight punches or looping shots. It's up to you guys. You guys kind of like need to imagine what is actually coming at you guys. So just to basically give you guys a quick one, and one that you guys will most likely see anywhere that you guys go, any gym, especially for a lot of beginners and newbies, is just working it in place, right? So you either roll under punches, right? Roll under punches and end up on this side, right? Roll under punches and end up on the opposite side. So just in place, don't even move, just in place, right? Just so you guys can get like the motion with your hips and just kind of work in a very stationary position, right? Once again, keeping your fundamentals intact, keep your stance, keep your hands up, right? Keep yourself bladed or a little more squared up. I don't know exactly, how you guys actually stand or your stance, but yeah, just basically keep your fundamentals intact, right? And then just roll under these punches, right? Roll under these punches, roll under these punches, roll under these punches. So that's just kind of like more of the basic way that you guys could actually work the slip rope. And then of course, when you guys feel that you guys have the stationary part down and you guys don't fall off of your stance every time that you go from left to right or from right to left, you guys actually could also start moving forward and backwards, because remember, boxing, you're not always going to be the person that's going to add the pressure going forward. You guys are not always going to be the one that's going to be pressuring. Sometimes you're going to be forced to fight off your back foot. Basically, it adds synchronization. So basically it connects your upper body or your upper torso with your lower body, right? So as I'm moving, right, I'm moving back, right? I'm moving, stepping back. 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 I'm moving, stepping back, right? Same thing. Sometimes I'm gonna be the one that's actually gonna be applying the pressure, and people are gonna be throwing punches at me, right? So that's kind of like the imagination that you have to have, right? Somebody's throwing punches at me, and I'm trying to get on the center. Like, I'm trying to get to the center. I'm trying to get on the inside, right? And I'm trying to get on the inside. Try to get onto the inside. And then when I'm here, right, I could maybe shift, right, throw a punch, boom, right, and connect some of the punches that I need to hurt my opposition, or basically grab a new angle, and I'm gonna eventually show you guys in these upcoming videos. Kind of keeps your body synchronized, right? Because in boxing, I feel like a lot of people forget that, yeah, even though like you see like the torso, right, you see these guys that are pretty much in shape, ripped, they look aesthetically pleasing, you guys could say, but a lot of times we forget like how important the legs are, right? Because the legs actually basically create the leverage that we need for certain punches, for certain slips, for certain movements, for shifts, right? So yeah, basically just kind of like having your body synchronized basically allows you the opportunity to just kind of like make very subtle movements, right, or fast movements, especially like when you slip, right? Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, although yeah, the slip rope has to be, or in my honest opinion, it has to be at least close to the shoulder level or neck level. You want more emphasis on your feet or on your legs, basically, and quads, your hamstrings. Of course, you might drop the slip rope a little bit lower, like I said, closer maybe to your bicep. It just depends like on who you're fighting, and sometimes, like I mentioned, sometimes you could be a bigger fighter fighting, I don't know, smaller guys, and you might need a bit of a, I don't know, like a little bit of a deeper kind of like squat, so that way you guys can get under certain punches and come up with like a punch of your own. But yeah, for the most part, you always just kind of want to keep yourself you at a point where like you're training for like the way that you fight or the opposition that's actually coming at you, right? You guys could actually get in a little bit deeper if you guys want to, right? I mean, maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit too much, but yeah, you guys get a little bit deeper, right? So back and forward, right? I'm actually way below the slip rope, so you guys could actually work like that as well. Another way that I like to work the slip rope is, of course, adding punches. Of course, if you want to throw maybe a couple punches, right? Roll, right? Throw a couple punches, roll. Throw a couple punches, roll. Throw a couple punches, roll, right? And you guys can do that going forward and back, right? Or if you guys don't feel comfortable, or for whatever reason you guys want to work your punches and your rolling in a very stationary way, then you guys could do that as well, right? You could just right here in place, throw a few punches, in place, right? Throw a few punches, right? In place. Another thing that is very important and that you guys should actually take advantage of is every time that you guys slip either from right to left or from left to right, make sure to kind of understand where your body ends up, like biomechanically, right? So for example, if I'm going, me as a southpaw, I'm going from my right to my left, right? So let's just say I'm slipping, if I'm fighting, let's just say another southpaw, right? Like I'm gonna pretend that I'm fucking I'm about to roll under a right hook, right? So I gotta roll under the right hook, right? I'm gonna keep myself fundamentally intact, right? I'm gonna go over here, right? So if I wanted to, right, let's just say I'm here and my body's kind of like, as you guys can see, I don't know if you guys can see clearly, but my body's kind of a little bit more dipped onto the left side, right? Because I rolled and kind of like dipped my body a little bit to my left side. I gotta take advantage of the biomechanic that I have here, like, because this is basically like a setup to a punch. Once I roll, I'm over here, right? I could, like come back with a left cross or a left uppercut, or may follow with a right hook or something, right? Or maybe I'll turn a little bit, left uppercut, right hook. So you want to see where you end up like biomechanically, because sometimes this will leave your hips and your body positioning and your feet in a certain angle or in a certain way that allows you guys the opportunity to counterpunch, right? Same thing if I'm going to my right, I'm going to my right, I rolled on this side, so I rolled from left to right, and this allows me the opportunity to just come back with a right hook, right? Because this basically sets up my movement. So I come right here, right, left hook, roll under here, right hook, roll under here, left uppercut, roll under here, right hook. And I can do that in place. I could once again do it moving from back to forth or forth to back. Another benefit of the slip rope is learning how to counterpunch, right? Like I mentioned, your body ends up in certain positions sometimes, and if you're very creative and you kind of like start, let's say, imagining on like what's in front of you, then you guys will start to slowly realize counter punches for certain punches, either A, from the same stance or the opposite stance. It also depends on like who you're imagining, who you're fighting, and what exactly it is that you're looking for, right? So let's just say I'm fighting an orthodox fighter, right? His lead foot is lined up with my lead foot, right? So if I, let's say, like roll into the left hook, right? Maybe I could throw a right hook over the top, right? And then a lead uppercut, right? Something like that. Try to make it as realistic as you possibly can, right? Or if, right hand is coming, I roll into the right hand, right? Same thing. If I angle out a little bit, I can throw a left uppercut and a right hook on the inside, right? Or, like I just could roll and throw a left hand. And at the same time, like work at it in different speed and different tempos, right? And be creative with like what you're doing, but at the same time, also try to keep it realistic, right? So like, let's just say like I'm rolling from right to left, right? And like I want to throw a hook, right? Like throw something where like you're not falling off balance, where you're not gonna hurt your fundamentals, and where it makes sense. Same thing if I'm going from my left to my right, and I, instead of like taking advantage of my hips being like turned this way and coming back with a right hook, I basically just do this, right? I basically come back and then throw that uppercut. Besides the fact that I lose kind of like the timing and the opening to actually land the shot, because remember, counterpunching is basically a millisecond or so. Like I also lose kind of like the power and the leverage and technique, and sometimes even my base, you get me? Like there's no point in me like throwing something as risky as that and then being off balance and for my opposition to knock me down with like a jab or something. Make everything that you do on the slip back realistic, have some imagination, have some creativity, and these are just kind of like a few ways that I could actually teach you guys for the next few videos. I mean, they're gonna get a little bit more advanced, so there's gonna be like a few videos that I'm actually gonna do on slip rope. I'm just gonna make a little mini series, and eventually like I'm gonna be branching out into other techniques and fundamentals, and hopefully bring you guys some more I guess you guys say more advanced breakdowns. But as of right now, I just kind of want to keep something very simple, just to kind of like ease my way back into YouTube and just find my groove and find my rhythm. So yeah, basically that will be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure that you guys leave a comment. That actually will help a lot. Share our videos around, and of course, go follow me on Instagram. On my Instagram, you guys will see more of what I've been doing with my boxing. And if you guys want to see me like work mitts for the most part, I mean that's mostly what I have on my Instagram. Go check that out. You guys will see me work with like, you guys will see a lot of my mitt work with the people that I train here from home and some of the people that I train at the gym. So yeah, thank you guys.